Meet the computer you can talk to. With Copilot on Windows, working, creating, and collaborating is as easy as talking. Got writer's block? Share your screen with Copilot Vision to help spark inspiration, and use Copilot Voice to have a conversation and brainstorm ideas. Or maybe you need some tech help. With Copilot Vision, Copilot sees what you see. Let Copilot talk you through step-by-step guidance so you can master new apps, games, and skills faster. Try now at windows.com/Copilot.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at amazon.com/new Alexa.
So we're going to be talking about pornography and is it always a problem? And, when I was thinking about what I was going to put on my podcast and different segments, it was a hard one because, it's just the word in itself. It has so many negative connotations to it. I don't want to, glorify this topic because I really feel bad, especially for women when I hear this topic. But, I said, I'm going to do it. We're going to talk about this because it's surprising, maybe because I'm naive, that people do use this as a way to help a relationship, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but maybe to you, and you can explain it to me. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
First question. So can pornography use be acceptable in a relationship?
Okay. I'm going to approach this topic really thoughtfully.
Okay.
Because it is, you're right. It's a real trigger for so many people, and people have very, very strong and very polarized views of pornography. Very few people are neutral on this topic.
Yep.
So I just want to say, I see you, whether you're an avid porn user or you think porn is evil and the worst thing in the whole world.
Yeah.
I get it. I really do. What I want to say is that it's important to normalize that watching people have sex or having sex in front of other people can be a really healthy turn on. It can be when it's consensual and it's private, it can serve a real healthy purpose and a healthy sexual expression. Voyeurism and exhibitionism they're really common fantasies that can remain in the realm of the imagination, either privately or shared with a partner. Or again, voyeurism and exhibitionism in a safe, consensual space, even in real life. You have sex clubs or sex parties where everybody is, if done right, it's all consensual. And there are guidelines and rules around it. And, the agreements are clear and everybody is sort of informed. Those can be very healthy.
Okay.
Pornography is a form of exhibitionism and voyeurism and exhibitionism for the performers.
Okay.
Right? If both partners in a relationship enjoy watching pornography together, it can be acceptable. If it's not a problem for you, then it's not a problem, right? And there are couples who enjoy watching together.
And I'll say this, throw my opinion. I don't have the statistics about this. I think many couples actually have watched pornography together. I don't think anyone's going to raise their hand in a classroom and admit it, but I think it's one of those things like growing up, talking about masturbation. Everyone knows the other person does it, but no one talks about it. Same thing with pornography because it's always associated with such negative connotation. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that you're just acknowledging that there are people that do it. And it's so hard to say that if you're already watching pornography, is that a red flag to see you earlier to solve a problem? Or, it's, I don't even know how to approach it,
Listen, pornography in and of itself, porn use in and of itself is not a problem. There's no reason to seek me. What is a problem is if
Okay.
one person is using porn
Yeah.
and the other person secretly or openly, and the other partner is has a problem with that. Or porn becomes compulsive. Porn use is compulsive, or one partner feels coerced into, and there are a lot of other things that we'll get into that when one partner uses porn consistently and the other one doesn't, it can cause issues in the relationship, but not just, it can cause sexual problems as well. Right.
So when you're seeing your clients, is it common that you're having the banter back and forth and someone says, I watch porn, and the other person's shocked, no, only on movies? Okay.
No, it isn't. I don't ever really see that. I have couples come to me and say, like, we're dealing with a porn addiction, and how do we deal with, I do a lot of work in the sex addiction and betrayal trauma space. And I don't coach the addiction. But I do help couples who are recovering from betrayal trauma.
Okay.
Integrate healthy sexuality.
So I have to ask this. So, the question was going to be, is porn actually addictive? But how do you know you're addicted? What are the red flags that this is an addiction? I gotta know. I gotta know.
I know. Well, so first, let's say, is porn actually addictive? Addiction in the loose term, like it. I think that most sex positive, like if you go to the Kinsey Institute, they don't believe that sex can be an addiction. It's not. You can have compulsive sexual behavior, right? And you can have compulsive porn consumption. And if you go to like a CSAT, a certified sexual addiction therapist, they are going to tell you that it is an addiction because it behaves like an addiction and people get dysregulated. You're not going to detox because, in the same way that you have a medical detox from substance.
Of course.
But your nervous system is, and your mind-body connection is behaving the way it does and reacting the way it does to an addiction. And you have all of that, all the sort of bundle of behaviors relationally with sex addicts or porn addicts that you do with the lying, the integrity abuse, all those sort of relational issues. So, is it addictive? I tend to use the word compulsive behavior.
Okay.
Porn addiction in particular is, people use that. It's a term that is used often in the general public as something that actually really exists. How do you know if you're an addict?
Yeah.
You have trouble stopping. It's interfering with your life. You're scheduling your day around, being able to go in the bathroom and watch porn, every day.
Yeah.
2-3 times a day.
And these are people that you counsel and they're open with you and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And obviously you'd give them the right advice to help out with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, I will refer them to, if it's if it really is, if they really can't help themselves, then they're not. I mean, that's one of the things, like, when you're training to be a coach, right? You are, you have to know early on to be able to distinguish when someone is coachable, ready for coaching, and if that's appropriate, or if they actually really need a therapist. Yeah. And one of the things is like, can you actually take action on the things that we define? Or is something stopping you and you don't know what is stopping you? It's something that's buried too deeply. If you cannot consistently work towards and take action on the things that you're trying to achieve, then you need some therapy to dig deeper underneath all that.
Yeah, keep on going, because I got more questions.
Yeah. Yes, porn is addictive. It is.
Yeah.
And let's be clear. Porn is I think it's a 3 billion, might be $4 billion industry
I'm not
that
surprised.
is designed. Yeah. It's designed to create compulsive behavior so that you spend more money and buy more.
Yeah.
The negative effects of porn use, that it can happen apart from, I want to talk about what happens apart from the lying, the deception, the secrecy, the betrayal that's involved in secret porn use.
Yep.
And all of the fallout from that, the not enoughness, I'm not hot enough. I'm not enough in bed. I'm not giving you enough sex, all that stuff. What can happen is with masturbation is that the penis can get so accustomed to hard stimulation that a regular vagina is no longer enough stimulation to maintain an erection or create an orgasm. Right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing in reverse, sort of, with a vibrator. What happens with vibrator use, and I'm often, I think I mentioned this in a different episode. I often have women come to me and say, like, I can't have an orgasm without my vibrator, and I want to be able to. And what can I do? You've made your body like accustomed to that intensity of stimulation, and you just have to wean off. And it's a process. The body has to catch up, and you have to rely on other stimulation like fantasy, or change up your position, and be more patient and enjoy the journey. So it's similar. It can be similar. It's really common, actually, that the visual and the genital stimulation created with porn is way over the top for regular partnered sex.
And have you had clients, patients that have had this, and once they were able to wean off, stop their porn addiction or watching, whatever terminology we're going to use, get back to having better intimacy with their partner?
Yeah. And yes. And it's totally possible. It's entirely,
okay.
What it takes is sort of a practice, right?
Okay.
Like, you actually have to be willing to stop using porn, like, just stop.
Is that easier said than done? Or do you find it just like smoking censation? You're going to fall back on the wagon, fall back. You know what I mean? Like, is it hard? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, what I want you to know about porn use is that there's porn use often happens, especially like compulsive porn use happens because it becomes a way of dealing with stress and regulating your nervous system. And very often when I speak to porn addicts, there is a history of some sort of abuse, really early exposure to sexuality.
Yeah.
With a lot of questions, without a lot of explanation. And so there's been unhealthy sexual behavior from a very early age, right?
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, someone who is addicted to porn or used it compulsively, and their partnership, and the partnership is suffering, it's not just because it's related to the porn use. And it's related to this idea that, women don't respond the way porn stars do. Right.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with me? And I won't get too explicit here for listeners.
Yeah, we want to air this.
Yes. But there are, like, what's wrong with my partner?
Yeah.
Like, she isn't responding this way. Something is wrong with her. She's not sexual enough, or she's not responding in the way that she would if she were really attracted to me. There's something wrong with me. There's something like there's a lot of relational fallout from this chronic porn use. There's physical effects of porn on a relationship, and then there's also psychological, and there's relational. Like it becomes huge.
I believe it.
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime Video.
Brilliant, just brilliant.
This week, the West Coast action heats up when the Rams meet the Seahawks in a huge divisional showdown. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party, TNF Tonight, presented by Verizon. And don't miss the Broncos and Chiefs on Christmas night. It's Thursday Night Football, only on Prime Video. Not a Prime member? Not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
REI Co-op presents a perfect outdoor moment with the perfect gift. Picture this. You're ripping with your favorite person. Bluebird skies, blower powder, and frankly, you're skiing like legends.
So sick. Another lap?
Thanks to REI's curation, from lid to sticks, you nailed the gift.
No way. How'd you know?
Does it get more perfect than that? Give without guessing. Shop in store or visit rei.com.
So, practical question. So, if one of the listeners or anyone is watching pornography and their partner doesn't know, would the best first step, if they would be to admit to it and tell the partner, hey, I have a problem? Or would it be to just seek help and try to get off of it and not even ever mention it and, put that in the closet with a couple of secrets? What would you say?
I would never say keep secrets and put
Okay, I'm just asking. You're the professional here.
Never. That's the worst idea. But there are a couple things that I can say. One would be if you have a relationship where you feel like you can talk to them, like, hey, I want to share something with you. I have a lot of shame around it. I don't want to hurt you. I need to come clean and be honest with you that I've been watching porn and I don't want to watch porn anymore. I think it might be having a negative effect on the way I show up with you, and I don't want to do it anymore, and I want to seek help. Do you want to seek help together?
Yeah.
And or if that is not possible, or you don't feel like you can communicate that skillfully, or you don't feel like your partner can hear it, receive it skillfully, then seek help. Seek the help of a therapist, and begin to explore how to have that conversation.
Yeah.
I feel as though, as hard as these things are, it is so much better to talk about it, to say the thing, and to be honest and vulnerable and take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah. So if you had to have some messages, and there's so many over here, but I want to make sure we start funneling it down. What do you want people to know about pornography?
Well, I think, of all the things that I don't love about pornography, the thing that's most pernicious is that it, as I said, it's become our de facto sex education.
Yeah.
Right? And what that is that the cultural narrative around sex is dictated by businessmen who benefit from portraying unrealistic and enhanced bodies and activities that are performative and not reflective of typical sexual response, and also complex relationships.
Yeah.
It's not about relating. It's not about love. It's not about expressing care and intimacy, right?
Yeah.
Plus, there's so much shame around and guilt around sexuality. We have no healthy counterbalance to all of this misinformation that we're given through the porn model of sex. And so much of what I do in my work is to unwind, like, that isn't what sex is.
Yeah.
Not, or even if that's one tiny flavor of sex, there is so much more to experience and explore. So, I think that my hope is that people will adjust their expectations of themselves and their partners to come to discover, like, that they're capable of a very different kind of sexual experience than they ever imagined, because they've been taking their cues from something that is, performative.
Yep. So let's circle back to the title of this seg, which is pornography, is it always a problem? Is the answer yes? Because it seems that was kind of the main theme. Am I missing another except or a but in there?
Well, if you remember, I will remind you that I started out this episode saying that if you watch porn, if you consume porn,
yeah,
it's and there's no deception going on. It's like a mutual and consensual enjoyment of pornography that's incorporated into your sex life, and it's not a problem for you, then it's not a problem.
Okay. I like that. So this kind of leads to our last question. It's amazing. Where did the time go? It's been almost 2 hours. I mean, we're going to cut this all up, but it's nuts.
That's crazy. That's crazy. By the way, my son got his little permission for an exam taken care of.
Yeah, right.
A little notification came in, so I'm back.
Are you good? Oh, you're back. I didn't even notice it when you weren't back. But so I think, hey, let's have our tips and everything like that. So, we're going to talk about couples, and so what can couples do to shift their dynamic around pornography?
Yeah. A couple things. One is that I think that there is, and this is not an easy thing to do. I do some of this in my online program, but you might actually engage a sexuality coach or an intimacy coach or someone who can kind of like hold the space for this discussion. Maybe even friends who know you and who you trust and feel comfortable with, but to have a conversation about values, about what is it that we value? What is it that what is it that we believe about sexuality, about lovemaking, about sex? Can you have sex for sex sake? What about pleasure? What about all of those things? And to start to have a very high level conceptual conversation around pornography, right?
Yeah.
For many, many women, we recognize that there's a lot of harm and sex trafficking to go on in the porn industry. And so for someone who really cares about human rights, that's a whole other objection to this industry that's happening.
Yeah.
So that's a piece of the whole puzzle. I have a friend who's like, I can never watch porn because I worry about whether this poor woman and whether or not she's actually okay.
Yeah.
So, there's that conversation to be had. The other thing that I really want to draw a distinction here.
Okay.
There's a difference between erotica and porn.
Please define, because I wouldn't know how to answer that.
Okay. So I'm a big fan of erotica, huge fan of erotica, and I'm not such a big fan of porn. The difference is that erotica is a piece of writing, photography, film, art, or other medium with like aesthetic intent, right? Artistic intent.
Okay.
Erotica strives to be both intellectually and sexually stimulating, right? Tending towards concept and suggestion rather than explicit imagery. Pornography is the commercialization of sex and exists as an industry, as a money-making, profitable industry.
Okay.
Porn's sole intent is to cause intense and immediate arousal so that you'll consume more of it.
Yeah.
Right? It's there to like heighten all of those, heighten the dopamine, heighten all of the endorphins, right? Like to create that, to manipulate your brain so that you need more and more and more and more extreme, right? There's no artistic value in porn per se, and the portrayal of bodies and sex is not thoughtful or complex. When you consume erotica, like think back to, I may be dating myself. I turned 60, but Penthouse Forum. Did they still have Penthouse Forum? Do they still?
I'm sure they have. I mean, me and you are about the same age, and I mean, I haven't checked the grocery store in a while. I'm sure it's there somewhere.
But there's plenty of like erotica. There's a whole site. There's a site, Residence 11. That's a great site that's filled with erotica. And there's a physical bookstore in LA called the Ripped Bodice. And it's all this like erotica written by and for women. And so it's much more, explores sort of the nuances and the energy and the relational dynamics. And it leaves a lot to your imagination, right? And there's other, it's in all mediums, as I said, there's film and art and photography and stuff that is like a real turn on. When I met my husband, we've been married 5 years. This is not a big, long lifetime marriage. He had a Pinterest board of like, things that turn him on,
Okay.
So it's just like, it wasn't porn. Nothing was explicit.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Most of it was like beautiful black and white photography of women's bodies and people making love. And it was so thoughtful and beautiful. And so if you can it's the same thing as saying, when you masturbate and you're using so much pressure on your genitals, on your penis, that you need to be able to like back off of that, or the vibrator is so intense. It's the same thing with the mental aspect of porn, right?
Yeah.
You want to go for subtlety and the suggestion and nuance and all of that. It's such a much more mindful and sensual and delicious experience of sex and arousal and even self-pleasure and all of that.
My God. I mean, I don't even know if I want this conversation or whole thing to be done, but I got to wrap it up. So let me say a couple of things about, Zoe, I think the thing I want to say about you is that you're just a cool person. You're down to earth. I love that your son called during our podcast, because it just shows that you're a mom. You're going through just normal stuff. And I see why your clients, patients, whatever you want to call them, relate to you, because of the way you listen, the way you answer, you're non-judgmental. And thank you for coming here today and just hanging out with me, man.
Yeah, Dr. Raj, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. And I'm so excited that you're willing to have these conversations. I really wish everybody could just feel like whatever they're dealing with, whoever they are, whatever they like, it's all, as long as nobody's getting hurt, it's all cool.
And I got to tell you, I'm going to put all your info like on our show notes, but I know you have a website we're going to put out there. You wrote books. You're all over like social media. You're kicking my butt on social media. But once again, thank you so much. And hey, I'm sure more questions are going to come out where I'm not going to be able to answer about intimacy. Hey, can I knock on your door again if I need some help?
100%. I'd be happy to come back anytime.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And all my listeners, I hope you enjoyed this block of amazing podcasts on the Dr. Raj podcast episodes in this month and the months to come. And stay tuned for more exciting and interesting topics.